Stop. The room went silent the moment my father laughed and said, "So after all that school, you ended up a janitor?" My name is Jessica Miller, and that sentence followed me for years. I worked at a rehabilitation center. It wasn't glamorous. No corner office. No shiny title. I cleaned rooms, restocked supplies, helped patients move safely, and stayed late when someone relapsed and cried on the floor. I loved the work. I saw people rebuild their lives from nothing. But to my father, it wasn't a real career. It wasn't impressive enough for him to brag about at dinner parties. Every family gathering was the same. He'd clap someone on the back for being a lawyer or a banker, then turn to me and say, "Still mopping floors?" People would laugh. I'd smile. But inside something hardened. What he didn't care to understand was that my job put me in the rooms where lives actually changed. I learned about systems, budgets, staffing, and how money could either save a program or shut it down overnight. I was always asking questions. I stayed curious. And quietly, I invested every single extra dollar I earned. There was no fancy lifestyle for me, no designer bags. Just patience and a plan. My father, meanwhile, was obsessed with status. He chaired a private foundation that funded addiction recovery programs. It was his pride and joy. He loved being photographed at ribbon cuttings, loved being thanked on big stages. He talked a big game about compassion, but he never once asked me what my work was actually like on the ground. The breaking point came at a huge charity dinner. Someone asked him what his daughter did for a living. He just waved a dismissive hand and said loudly, "Oh, she cleans up after addicts. Calls it a career." The table erupted in this awkward, uncomfortable laughter. My face burned with embarrassment. I stood up, leaned in close to him, and said quietly, "You should be careful who you look down on." He just smirked, as if I'd just proven his point about me. That was the night I decided to stop being silent. See, over the years I had built something real. Through careful investing and smart partnerships, I had become a major donor very quietly through an LLC that didn't carry my last name. That same LLC was now the second largest funding source for my father's own foundation. He never bothered to ask who was behind it. He just enjoyed the money and the prestige it brought him. So, for the next funding cycle, I made one small change. I froze it. No drama, no big announcement. Just a formal notice sent from my LLC. Funding paused pending review. Within weeks, my father was panicking. His programs were calling him. The board was asking tough questions. His image, the thing he valued more than anything else, was starting to crack. He showed up at my apartment unannounced, absolutely furious. "Do you know what this is doing to me?" he shouted. "People are watching." I just looked at him calmly and said, "Yes, that's the point." I told him everything. That the janitor job he mocked taught me how recovery really works. That the money he depended on came from the daughter he made fun of for years. I told him that real compassion isn't a speech you give at a dinner, it is about respect. He went completely quiet. For the first time in my life, he didn't have a comeback. I didn't shut the funding down forever. I reinstated it, but with new conditions, full transparency, better support for the workers, and mandatory respect for all frontline staff. He had a choice: accept the new terms or step down. He accepted. We don't have a perfect relationship now. But he no longer laughs at my job. And when someone asks what I do, he looks them in the eye and says, "She helps people rebuild their lives." It is funny how quickly a janitor becomes worth listening to when she asks the one who controls the keys. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more.